Joining us now to talk about this is Aubrey Bates, a spokeswoman for the website trackbill.com. And Aubrey, it's great to have you with us.
Thank you. Great to be here.
All right, so tell us about the website and, what was the inspiration and what was the real critical application you saw for this website?
Sure. So our founder started the whole thing. He was finishing up his degree in school and had spoken with several people in Illinois who indicated that there was a need for something like this. So after speaking with several people and realizing that it was a pretty broad need for people, all across the United States, he ended up developing TrackBill. And so what we do is you can search for legislation by bill number, by keyword, committee name, and receive updates as things kind of move throughout the process.
Well, now here's the thing, Audrey. There are thousands of bills that go through Washington, D.C. Is there an easy way that folks can sit here and look at your website and sit there and put in a search word, and not only this bill, but maybe have past bills that have already been voted on and put it in an easy to understand format?
Yeah, actually, that's a good question. That's exactly what we do. So you can track bills that are in the current session and see how they're moving, but you can also go back and look at some historical information too. So you could go back to last session and see, what was happening last session with immigration and how similar does that bill maybe look to the bill that we're seeing today.
All right, so, again, as we look at the ability now, the new outlets for people to tune in here and figure out what's going on in Washington, is there certain, data in these bills that people can pay closer attention to see maybe if this is just a symbolic vote that's being taken, or if there's certain pork that's being folded into a bill, or certain provisions that people might not be aware of?
Sure. So as far as the provisions that people might not be aware of, you can view full bill text, and you can also view any amendments that are added to the bill, any text changes that are made to the bill you'll receive an alert on, things along those lines. You can see any votes that were taken on a bill and kind of track what's happening there as well. As far as kind of diving a bit deeper, we of course always recommend that you're still listening to the news to get a little bit more deeper insight. What we try to provide is the data and kind of the raw information to let people analyze it the way that they see fit.
That's right. A combination of the two, of course. We want to be here and we want to.
Yeah, we thank you for still encouraging people to watch the news on behalf of our employers who pay our salaries. We appreciate that. It's midterm elections. Do you think this is something, though, that will only be popular right now because people are concerned about what's going on in the news? Or do you think coming into maybe 2015, are people still going to be just as excited to find out what their people that they're going to vote for in the voting box are doing while in Washington?
Right. Well, we all hope so, right, for our jobs. But yeah, no, we've seen over the last year and a half, 2 years that people have been using our site to track legislation regardless of kind of timing. So that's been great for us. But of course, this is an important time of year as well. We, for example, put together an infographic where we took a look at legislators and the number of bills that they have had passed over the last 10 years. And Charlie Rangel has had the most passed over the last 10 years.
Well, he's been around for a long time, probably knows all the ins and outs of getting things passed. The question is,
how substantial are these bills? Are we talking about naming honor, statues in honor of somebody in a bathroom somewhere?
Well, let's talk about a couple of legislative issues right now that are important. I'm sure that a lot of Americans want to find out more information on, namely the president's proposal for that $3.7 billion, and also the Cornyn-Cuellar bill. Texas Senator John Cornyn and Texas Congressman Henry Cuellar, bipartisan bill they proposed. Can folks find information on both of those on your website?
Both, exactly, yeah. And so you can filter things down a bit further. So, for example, I know that typically, it's difficult to find information on, what is the bill number or where do I find the full bill text. But what you can do is you can say, I know this bill was introduced in the House and I know it was introduced by this representative, and here's a keyword that I know I will find in the bill. You perform a search that way and then you will find the bill that you're looking for. So that's a great example of something that we recommend that you use our website for.
All right, well, Aubrey, we'll put you on the spot a little bit right now. Are you tracking the page views and traffic on those two particular bills?
I haven't been. What we've been tracking a little bit more of are the bills that have seen the most activity within the past 30 days. So I could tell you.
All right, let's start with that. Give us a top two or three real quick before we say goodbye.
Sure. Yeah, I know that there's an appropriations bill, which of course is seeing a lot of activity, and then we're also seeing there's an oil and gas infrastructure bill that has seen over 70 actions in the last 30 days.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Aubrey Bates from trackbill.com. Thanks so much for being with us, telling us about that. I think she's referring to the appropriations bill, the the trust fund bill that's been proposed, and also talking about the infrastructure, the Keystone Pipeline. The president speaking today about the need for investment in infrastructure. Strangely enough, not talking too much about the Keystone Pipeline.
Well, exactly. That's what the president does. But to be honest with you, I love this idea because it's like C-SPAN. If you ever are just bored at 2 in the morning and you want to flip through, you find C-SPAN. You kind of watch it more for comedic relief than anything. At least here now, this is a great website that can give you the resources where you actually get the information of what these guys are talking about in Washington, D.C.
And another important thing that Aubrey noticed is that you can go back in time and hold these guys to account on how they voted on one issue. Folks who were for something before they were against it, or vice versa.
Exactly. I think that's what's made the success of newscasts like this so popular, is because people are actually doing their research and they're taking it back and they're realizing what people say, who's really truthful when they're reporting.
Don't worry, the kids are all right. We're keeping a close eye on politics here on America's Forum and elsewhere. Much more to come here on the program today when we return right after this commercial break.